Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going over the group quiz 11.1 and 11.2. Hopefully you've gotten your quiz back and you're able to do the quiz corrections as I go through this. Please make sure that you were allowed to use your book, and the disappointing thing is this problem was identical to the problem in 11.1. The only difference was the numbers. I did see some of you try and draw it out, which was excellent. You would have drawn out the section, and then it said it had two square sections. In the book, it was 100, and then it was 100 minus 2x. Well, the same thing was supposed to apply. You could have used x, or you could have used p. I didn't care which one you did, but the length was supposed to be 20 minus 2p, okay, or 20 minus 2x, because it said it had two sections, and this whole thing was 20. So it was designed to be exactly like the problem that was in your book, except you were supposed to be able to look at your book and go, oh, okay, it's the same problem, except I need to use 100 instead of 20. And then the area was 20 minus 2x. So when you multiply the length and the width. Now we know the width is p, or in this case I'm changing it to x. We knew the width was x because this was a square. So that means the length and the width were the same. Okay. Once you have your equation, you go ahead and multiply it out. So it would be x times 20 is 20x. X times negative 2x is negative 2x squared. And then the next part of the problem asks you to write the expression in the area as a function in standard form. Standard form means you have to have the x squared first, followed by the x, and then followed by a number that stands alone. Alright, so that means I had to move the negative 2x squared to the front. So it becomes negative 2x squared plus 20x. Okay, and that's it for that part. Okay, you were not supposed to do question C. We flip it over, and we had our first differences and our tables. In order for you to calculate all the y's in the table, you just had to plug the x into the problem and get an answer. So the first one was 3 times 0, which is 0, minus 2 is negative 2. The second one is 1 times 3, which is 3, minus 2 is 1. The next one is 2. 2 times 3, 6, minus 2 is 4. The next one is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 2 is 7. The last one is 4. 4 times 3 is 12, minus 2 is 10. And then you were supposed to go through the first differences and subtract the second number from the first. So this would be 1 minus a negative 2, which is 3. 1 minus a negative 2 is 3, because it's 1 plus 2. And then the next one would be 4 minus 1, which is 3. The next one is 7 minus 4, which is 3. The last one is 10 minus 7, which is 3. And what you're supposed to notice is that when your first differences are the same, that automatically tells me that my equation is supposed to be linear. Now, some of you were able to tell that it was linear just by the problem. That's good. So you do get some of the points for this problem, but you were supposed to be able to do the first differences. And then the second differences, you do the same as the first. So it would be 3 minus 3, and obviously all these answers will be 0. So not only do the first difference answers be the same, but the second different answers will always be 0, and that's what constitutes as linear. All right, so now we do it for the second table. Second table, the x is squared, so that means I put the number in, square it, multiply it by negative 2, and then add it to 1. So 0 squared is 0, times negative 2 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 squared is 1, times negative 2 is negative 2, plus 1 is negative 1. 2 squared is 4, times negative 2 is negative 8, plus 1 is negative 7. 3 squared is 9. 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. Negative 18 plus 1 is negative 17. 4 squared is 16. 16 times negative 2 is negative 32. Negative 32 plus 1 is negative 31. Okay? Now, you could use your calculator to do it, or you could have done it in your head. Either one is okay. Doesn't matter. The next is the first differences. So this would be negative 1 minus 1, which is negative 2. This would be negative 7 minus a negative 1, which is negative 7 plus 1, which is negative 6. This would be negative 17 minus 7, negative 17 plus 7, because when you minus a negative, you add, so it's negative 17 plus 7, which is a negative 10. Negative 31 minus a negative 17, which is negative 31 plus 17, is a negative 14. Now this one you would have probably wanted to use your calculator for the correct subtraction. Again, when you use the scientific calculator, it puts the problems right on there, so you can't get them wrong as long as you type them in correctly. Okay, so here we have, we reset this real quick. You would do negative 1, negative 1, okay? There's a negative sign on the bottom of this. Negative 1, minus 1, answer. Negative 7 minus negative 1, okay? And as you go through the answers, you can literally see that I'm doing the subtraction problem and the answers are coming up in the other column, just like they do here. And then when I do the second differences, it's negative 6 minus negative 2, and you get negative 4. And negative 10 minus a negative 6, which is negative 10 plus 6, which is a negative 4. And last but not least, negative 14 plus 10 is a negative 4. When you see this pattern and it's in the second difference, it's now quadratic. Now, some of you were able to say it's quadratic because you saw x squared. That's excellent, but you do only get part of the points because the other part, the hardest part of this was doing the actual arithmetic with a calculator. All right, and that was it for the quiz corrections. Hopefully, remember the quiz corrections involve you actually writing out the original question, you having to write out and show all the math work you were supposed to do with the correct answers. And then you're supposed to tell me what you did incorrectly. All right, so remember it's 4 things. The original question, the showing of your math work. That means you have to show when you plug it into the problem and get an answer. For this, you have to show the subtraction for this, and you have to show the subtraction for this. Okay? You have to have the right answer, and then you have to tell me originally what did you do incorrectly, or what were you supposed to do? And most of you should be able to very easily figure out what you were supposed to do. All right, thank you very much.